Your next project is going to involve the grid method, or the grid process as it's sometimes called. So for this process, we want to practice it because this is the process you'll use to draw your self-portrait and the skull. In the grid process, you will be given a picture with a grid on it, and then you will need to replicate that somewhere else. You've done this before with the grid drawings we did in beginning art that are now in the hallways. So the process should feel fairly familiar to you, but I wanted to have you take some time to practice it so you felt comfortable before we did our actual final projects. As we look at this, the goal is to look at each square and replicate it. So in A1, I'm replicating the shapes inside of A1, A2, B1, B2. You can see that process of following through. Remember, you can break down squares to see where things might be and where their placements are. So here, as I break down square A1, I can see that the curved edge of this dog's ear is just above the middle point. And I can see the line starts just under halfway between the middle and the top. So I'm going to be able to take that dog ear and I'm just going to start drawing it. I know I need to draw it out. To begin with, you need to draw really lightly because you may need to go back through and change something if it's not the right spot. But getting the basic outline put in first, looking again in A2 now, you can kind of see that the dog's ear is a little bit before the middle. Comes to that point right there. I'm actually going to come back up to beat 1 here and kind of look at where I can see this line going. I see this line goes until it runs here. Take your time and be thoughtful. Remember, just replicate the shapes that you see. How close to B do we get? Do I need to drop that down a little bit? Be thoughtful about where your lines go. So noticing where things go in between two different lines, noticing where those lines go and drawing them, trying to get the curves on them. Starting with the thinner lines first, then you can move into thicker lines. You can see I've done a little bit more right here. Taking some time to show. You can see drawing lighter to begin with as we look at where that dog collar might be. Looking in square B3, trying to find out where the shoulder of the dog's front leg and paw might be. I'll split it in half right here. Notice it's just past halfway the collar. Goes through here, connects, can inform where that line sits a little bit more. So you can see moving this process along. Trying to identify what's happening there. Now on this one, we do not need to enlarge the size. The dog that we are drawing on from the left over here on the right will not increase in size. When you do this project with the skull and your self-portrait, you will be increasing the size a little bit. That's another one of the processes of this. As you continue along, keep working to get the dog transferred over. Don't add shading until the very end. It just helps so that there's not as much graphite on the page. And be thoughtful about where you're putting different things and how thick the lines are. You can see here I need to erase a little bit, change the thickness to be a little thinner. But you can see the process. You're just taking the class period today to work on this idea so you can understand and remember how the process of moving from square A1 to square A1 will transfer your drawing.